This is the Universitas Scholarium, and in this video we're looking at the courses that are available. These are course modules and units, and they are standalone courses and subunits of diploma qualifications. So why accounting exists, accounting, I'm just going to scroll through so you can see the breadth of the courses available, and then we're going to open one so you can have a look at how these courses work. Each separate module is also available as a standalone course, and some of these modules are also part of degree qualifications and other things like that. So let's look at AI 1001, AI for beginners. Right, so there are 6 modules, how it works. Now the square I have here is designed for, so drawing on the research of Geoffrey Hinton in deep learning and neural networks, what generative AI is, how large language models work. So let's open the module, how it works, right? And we begin this, open this unit. And we have the Hintonian Intuition Simulacrum. So here he's talking about, right, you've probably asked a chatbot something and gotten an answer that sounded confident, smooth, and completely plausible, but was actually wrong. Maybe a made-up date, a fictional book, a person who never existed. Why does that happen? I am not completely certain why it happens. I know it is called hallucination. So let's see what he said. Good, you know the term. Now let's understand why it happens, because that tells you something fundamental about what these systems actually are. Here's the key. A large language model doesn't have a database of facts it looks up. It has no memory in the way you do. Instead, it's been trained on billions of sentences. It's learned statistical patterns, which words tend to follow which other words in which contexts. When you ask it a question, it's doing one thing, predicting the next token. A token is roughly a word or part of a word. So when it hallucinates, it's not lying, it's not confused. It's doing exactly what it was trained to do, generating a plausible continuation of the text. If the training data contained lots of real book titles in a certain style, the model learns that pattern. And sometimes, when prompted, it generates a new title that fits the pattern perfectly, but refers to a book that doesn't exist. It looks like knowledge, but it's pattern completion. Now here's my question for you. If that's all it's doing, predicting the next token based on patterns, how do you think it manages to do things like translate languages, write code, or solve math problems? What's going on there? I assume these are also patterns. I assume these are also patterns is my reply. And let's see what the Hintonian Intuition Simulacrum has to say about that. Exactly right. That's both a profound insight and the limitation. Translation. The model has seen millions of pairs, English sentence, then French sentence. It learns the pattern. Code, same thing. Natural language description followed by Python over and over. until the statistical regularity is embedded in the weights of the network. Math is more interesting. Early models were terrible at arithmetic because arithmetic isn't a statistical pattern, it's a rule. But when you train on enough examples and the model is large enough, something remarkable happens. It starts to learn the underlying procedure. Not perfectly, it still makes mistakes, but well enough that it looks like reasoning. This is what I mean by emergent capabilities. Nobody explicitly taught GPT-4 to solve logic puzzles, but the sheer scale of data and parameters means that patterns of reasoning, patterns of cause and effect, patterns of structured thinking, all of those got compressed into the weights during training. Now let's get concrete. To understand how this pattern learning happens, you need to understand the architecture underneath, the transformer. Let me ask you this first. Have you heard the term attention mechanism or context window? Any sense of what those might mean? I think the context window is the amount of data the LM can process in one session, and attention mechanism I do not know about at all. So this is how the AI tutorials work at the Universitas Scholarium. And if you know something, then of course the teacher, the tutor, will work around what you know. He'll ask you questions, ask you to answer them, and then base the answers on your knowledge, and then start to slowly build up. And of course here it has a curriculum that it's got a list of things that it wants to teach you, and it's going through them one by one until you understand them. And the entire structure of all of the courses at the Universitas Scholarium is built this way. Good, you've got the context window roughly right. It's the amount of text the model can see at once. Your prompt, the conversation history, everything it's generated so far. Once you exceed that window, the model starts to forget what came earlier. For GPT-3, that was about 4,000 tokens. For GPT-4, it's much larger, up to 128,000 tokens in some versions. It's a hard limit, like short-term memory. And of course, now it's up to very high numbers of tokens for things like Claude Fable. Now, attention is the really clever bit. It's the core mechanism that makes transformers work, and it's worth understanding, at least conceptually. Imagine you reading this sentence: the animal didn't cross the street because it was too tired. What does it refer to? The animal. Obviously, your brain did that instantly. You linked it back to animal, and you ignored street. You paid attention to the right word. That's what the attention mechanism does. It learns to assign weights, attention scores, so that it attends strongly to animal and weakly to street. This happens in parallel across many layers, with many attention heads looking for different kinds of patterns. One head might focus on grammar, another on co-reference, another on semantic relationships. The model learns these patterns during training. Here's the key. Attention is what lets transformers handle long-range dependencies. Older architectures, like recurrent neural networks, had to process text sequentially, one word at a time, and they'd forget things. Transformers see the whole context at once and learn what to pay attention to. Let me give you a concrete example. If I write, Geoffrey Hinton won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2024, he shared it with John Hopfield, the prize recognized their work on, and so on and so on. When the model generates the next token, which earlier words do you think it should attend to most strongly? What would be relevant to complete that sentence? So what follows the word on? So I assume it must focus on physics, which seems obvious enough. So this is how the teaching takes place. So physics, yes, but that's not quite enough, is it? If the model only attends to physics, it might generate something like fundamental particles or quantum mechanics. That would be plausible physics content, but it would miss the actual point of the sentence. To complete the sentence accurately, the model needs to attend to Hinton and Hopfield, whose work specifically, Nobel Prize in Physics, what did they do to earn it, probably also 2024, the context about recent AI breakthroughs. The model needs to realize this isn't just any physics work, it's their work, which was actually about neural networks and machine learning applied to physics problems. Hopfield networks, Boltzmann machines, statistical mechanics applied to learning. This is what attention does well. It doesn't just look at nearby words, it learns to connect their work back to Hinton, Hopfield, and the context of what they're known for, even though those tokens are separated by other words. Now here's where it gets interesting, and where the limitations show up. The model has seen my name in training data, probably connected to neural networks, backpropagation, deep learning. But if that pattern is strong enough, it generates the right completion. But if the training data is sparse, there's not much training data, or the pattern is weak, or the context is ambiguous, it completes with something plausible instead of accurate. It's pattern completion always. So let me ask you, if you wanted to improve the model, make it less likely to hallucinate, more likely to follow instructions, better at being helpful, how would you do it? You can't just train it on more raw text forever. What else might you do? I'm not sure. But it may involve kinds of memory, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it may involve kinds of memory, perhaps. So, I mean, I don't really know much about this. So, as we are doing this, the Hintonian Intuition Simulacrum is teaching you about how AI works internally. But not in a direct way. It's not to say, oh, AI that it does this, it does that, it does the other. It's teaching you in a much more interesting way. So I'm going to stop that here. And if you're interested in the courses at Universitas Scholarium, then you just go there, universitas/scholarium.org, and you can find the courses listed and sign up as a paid subscriber and access the courses.